Welcome on in. We are back home at FedEx Field where the 1-3 Commanders are taking on the 2-2 Tennessee Titans. We are coming to you live for the next few hours, taking you all the way up until kickoff. Coming on the show, we have Bram Weinstein, of course, calling the plays with us, starting the show off well. We have Andre Carter, former player, Jamin Davis. He talked with London Fletcher. London Fletcher will be joining us as well. Vernon Davis, Doc Walker. We have a stacked show for you. So make sure you stay with us on Big 100. You can also watch the team warming up here and see all the action that's going on at FedEx Field on all of our social media platforms. Fred Smoot will be here as well. Can't forget Smoot. He does our post-game show for us. This is Command Center Game Day Live on the Commanders YouTube and social media platforms, and of course on our flagship radio station, Big 100. We also have a brand new broadcast location on the Bobby Mitchell main concourse in the south end zone by section 232. So if you're coming on out to FedEx Field, make sure you stop by and watch the show live. It is an absolute gorgeous day for some football, Bram. A little chilly in the shade, but on the field, man, it looks beautiful for a game. And of course, this is our Think Pink game, so everybody will be wearing pink as well, where we raise awareness for breast cancer. Also the crucial catch game for the NFL. Good day for some football.
Beautiful day. This is what I call my retirement weather. This is what I want full time when I'm in old age. 63 and sunny. It's going to be gorgeous today, and really good day to get a win and turn a season around here.
That is what Washington does need to do. Try and turn this around. 3 straight losses. It has been very frustrating and a disappointing beginning to the season for sure. And you can feel the frustration, but between the coaches, the players, of course, we know the fans are very vocal on they want and expect more from this team. So Tennessee comes in having won 2 straight games. On paper, this is a very winnable game. Of course, it's never on paper. But one of the biggest things I think that we have to really focus in on is a fast start. And that is something Washington has not been able to do this season. They have been outscored, 58-7?
In the first half collectively over the last 3 weeks.
Meanwhile, the Tennessee Titans, they have scored a touchdown on every single opening drive so far this season.
Yep.
Is that right where we need to start?
Yes, they need to start better, just in general. There's no time to slowly adjust here. Tennessee, not unlike Dallas or Philadelphia the last couple of weeks, if they get a lead on you, you are in trouble. They will suffocate you with I would argue, best running game in the NFL right now, and they have an incredible play-action game, which I think is going to be a big part of all of this. Tennessee last week scored on their first 4 drives of the first half. The week before, they scored on their first 3 drives. As you mentioned, they scored a touchdown on every opening drive. I don't remember last time we're doing things like that here. We have trailed in every single game that we've played. That has been something that's happened for 2+ years now here. They have to start faster. The good news is Tennessee, believe it or not, at 2-2, 7 total points in the second half. Total, right? Total. But they've been going away, not unlike Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago. They get up, they run the ball, they run clock, they're playing to their advantage. Their advantage is Derrick Henry. So things need to change today. We need a faster start for sure.
A faster start. Derrick Henry is kind of the engine that they run behind, of course. He had his first 100-yard game last week in their outing. They rely a lot on him heavily, especially in the first half. In the second half, they kind of let their rookie get there and do a little bit more of the work and carry the load, but they go into the halves within the lead. So they haven't had to score a lot in the second half in order to get those 2 victories that they've had in the last 2 weeks. That's not necessarily by design. Of course, they are offensive coordinators talking about they would like to be able to not have to rely so much on the defense and to be able to have the offense kind of clicking, but they are not necessarily and have not been a second half team. Some good news for Washington, if we're talking about the run game, Brian Robinson Jr. Should be making his return. He was at practice this week. He has been activated. What are you anticipating there?
I mean, this is miraculous, really. He was shot. People seem to forget that part of this. He was very fortunate of where the bullet entered and exited his body. It did not hit any ligaments or any structured part of the leg, which is very fortunate. This has been going on for a couple of weeks where we've seen him out at practice at least doing lateral drills, and so we kind of saw this all kind of coming. It's still amazing that he's doing this. I would really ask you, because they've been very coy about how much they will use him. I cannot expect a heavy workload today, but maybe you know better than I do.
I think we will see. You do have to be able to be very cautious on maybe a certain amount of a pitch count for him. And it's not so much a matter of if he's out there as the starter or what, but they will closely monitor for that. I think a lot of it, too, comes to the conditioning. You know,
Yep.
he hasn't been out there fully for the past few weeks or the past month being able at the condition of playing the level that it requires in the game. But no matter what, if he is out there, it's going to be another key weapon on offense that Tennessee is going to have to attest for.
Yes.
And he is another option because we saw in the preseason how electrifying he is, how powerful he is as a running back with the ball in his hands. And we saw him at practice. He did not look like he had missed any time hardly at all. Of course, his body's probably a little bit sore getting back into that as well. But as we know with this offense, Jahan Dotson, of course, he is not going to be out here today as he's dealing with a hamstring injury. They are going to need everybody to be able to contribute, and Brian Robinson will add that.
Yeah, I think so. I would love nothing more than to call him scoring a touchdown on a goal line drive.
He did score the very first one for the Commanders in the preseason.
He did. I think really on both sides of the ball today is all about play action, and I think that his presence here is a big deal for that. They need to be able to sell run more often. We saw what Antonio Gibson did out of the backfield in week 1. By getting Robinson back, I think it affords the opportunity to potentially get them both on the field at the same time, and I like that matchup a lot. When you watch Tennessee on defense, first of all, they're very beat up on the back end. Their pass defense is bottom third of the league right now, so there might be, if we can buy some time for Wentz, some opportunities down the field specifically for Terry McLaurin, but the matchups you really like when you watch their linebackers, they're very aggressive when they key on run. Well, you've got an opportunity to get a matchup with someone like J.D. McKissick or Antonio Gibson out of the backfield, and I think that's where opportunity is going to be. Other side of the ball, same problem. You got to focus on stopping Derrick Henry. This defense, where Tennessee is terrific at, is play action off of it, because the team needs to focus so much on trying to stop Henry. So on both sides of the ball, I think play action is a huge, huge, huge deal today.
That it is. You mentioned if they can afford some time for Carson Wentz. Of course, the offensive line has continued to deal with multiple injuries as well. As we did mention, Jahan Dotson will not be out here. Brian Robinson Jr. does return. The injury report is presented by Optima Health Plan, a health plan you can count on. Well, today is our Breast Cancer Awareness and Crucial Catch game. I'll be talking with our co-owner, Tanya Snyder, and co-CEO about this cause that's so important to her and to the franchise coming up next. Plus, we get the pulse of the fan base with Big 100's Don Geronimo joining us. You are watching Command Center Game Day Live on the Washington Commanders YouTube and social media platforms, and you are listening to Washington Commanders football. Time now for your player profile, brought to you by Pepsi, official soft drink of the Washington Commanders.
Just getting back on the field, having fun, being around my coaches and team again. It was just a beautiful day for me, honestly.
Just describe what this whole process has been like for you.
Just another line of adversity, struck against me, where I was, faced against a battle with myself, and just had to continue to work, just do better for myself, honestly. It's been a up and down process, but I'm thankful for all the people I got around me to help me, kind of get back on my feet.
Who are some of the people you've relied on most throughout this process?
Everybody around this organization, the Snyders, Coach Rivera, Coach Jordan, all the players in that locker room, they welcome me with open arms, and, I'm thankful for them.
During that rehab process, are there any highs or lows you mentioned that stand out to you as being particularly meaningful?
Just the adversity itself, I guess I'm the king of adversity. I've been dealt with so much adversity in my life. This is just another situation where, I just got to be stronger than what I'm up against. I've had my tests, just having to be away from ball, be away from the organization for a little while, just kind of get myself together. But all of that time was very much needed.
It's fourth down, seconds on the clock. He hands it off, finds a hole in the middle. Clear, nothing but incredible. A touchdown for the win. I can't believe it.
Pizza, better with Pepsi.
You ever wonder why people are always on their phones? They're banking with Bank of America. Look at this guy. He bought those tickets on his credit card, and he's racking up the rewards.
She's using Zelle to pay him back for the hot dogs he's about to buy.
That's going to bring it to
And
a
the
close here
announcer?
after 3.
He's not checking the stats. He's finding some investment ideas with Merrill.
And third, as you know, in baseball means 3.
Digital tools so impressive, you just can't stop banking. What would you like the power to do?
finding the Honda you really want just got easier. With a longer limited warranty, so long, and complimentary oil changes within the first year. You've never been more at peace than with Honda Certified Pre-Owned.
Well, my baby doll gives me special love. It's the kind of stuff.
Honey, it's your turn.
I'm on cloud nine.
Pizza, better with Pepsi.
And today's game against the Titans is presented by iHeartRadio's 97.1 Wash FM right here in the DMV. Today is the crucial catch game for the NFL. It is also the Think Pink game for the Washington Commanders here. Tanya Snyder started Think Pink about 20 years ago when they bought the franchise, and it has been something that has been near and dear to her heart and the franchise's heart to make sure that they increase awareness for breast cancer and make sure early detection is something that every woman is aware of, and making sure that they do go get checked out to help prevent deaths because of breast cancer. So you're going to see the stadium here at FedEx Field with pink all over the place. The W in the middle of the field is pink, and of course we're all wearing our Crucial Catch Command the Cure t-shirts as well. Earlier this week I had the opportunity to talk to Tanya Snyder about this initiative. So you launched Think Pink in 1999 with Zeta, just handing out 8,000 ribbons. Where did you imagine this movement would go?
So it took the first 10 years, us locally expanding, and it was Think Pink, and then it became a league-wide program, Think Pink and Make a Crucial Catch. And then that's when all over the world I was, getting ribbons from people everywhere. So very proud. It took off, and it's got a trademark to it, and it's effective. Breast cancer is something that one in eight women are affected. And too many people lose their lives, men and women. More than half of our fans are definitely female. I've heard so many great stories of, when we are doing breast cancer awareness during October, and they are watching a football game, and they are, whether they're in the stadium or at home and carrying the card. I do know that the numbers between our fans and between the outreach, that we have so much feedback that, it is having impact. But again, we are super excited about, the cure. You will see all of the young Zetas out in a sea of pink, ribbons everywhere in the month of October. And we want to make sure that all of our fans and their loved ones, that we certainly get their checkup. And it is definitely time to think pink and command the cure.
Again, today's game against the Titans is presented by iHeartRadio's 97.1 Wash FM right here in the DMV. And joining me now on our pregame show is Don Geronimo. He has a pregame show to us here out at FedEx Field. Nice to have you on site, on location.
Thank you, Julie.
Of course, you can listen to the Don Geronimo Show weekdays on iHeartRadio, Big 100, 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. on our Commander's flagship radio station.
I have you on the show every other day except when you're sleeping.
I do agree. I admit, totally guilty. I did not set my alarm properly for Wednesday morning.
That's
but
all right.
I get one. We always say everybody gets one.
Yeah,
so that's
do.
my one for the rest of the season.
You work hard.
Washington has had 3, so we need to get back on track.
Right.
3 straight losses, and today is the day that we are going to go ahead and put it out there that they're going to turn it around. But you talked to a lot of the fans throughout the week as well. I know what I hear and what I feel from them. What are you hearing and feeling from the fans about this franchise and where we need to go?
What I'm hearing from the fans is on Monday, everyone was despondent. Everyone on Monday was like, burn the stadium down. I want to get rid of everything. I want to stop. Then you let another day go by, and then you start thinking, well, it's Tennessee coming in. And they're not the same Tennessee that they were a couple of years ago. They're good, but they're not as good as they were. And then you start thinking, well, we can win this game. And then you think, and next week it's the Bears. We should be able to beat the Bears on a dumb Thursday night game. So I think that the thought around here is once again heading straight towards being optimistic. that there's plenty of room to be pessimistic. If they lose the game, trust me, we're going to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But everyone is right now, I think, turned it around, and they think this will be the week to start at least a one-game winning streak.
You need a get-right game. This could be that for Washington, although Tennessee does come in on 2 wins in a row. But it is home here. It is at FedEx Field. But it does start and end, really, with the play of the quarterback.
And you know what else? I'm sorry, I wanted to just say one thing. As I looked around the stadium, I got here very early today. I don't see this as a Tennessee takeover like when the Eagles came here.
Right.
I don't see that as a problem today, and that's good for the home team, too.
Well, the players will, in fact, admit that they hear it. They feel it when it is the opposing team that is cheering and overtaking things, and it has an impact. But they also understand in order to get the fan base back, they have to win. They have to give the fan base something to cheer about. Look, that last game against the Philadelphia Eagles as well, it was Carson Wentz's former team, and it was not the performance we have wanted to see from Carson. He wanted to put out there. We have gone through a carousel of quarterbacks. What do you think it's going to take today for Carson Wentz to be able to kind of get back on track?
I think what he has to do is calm down. And what I see from him a lot is Carson gets under pressure and he runs away from it, and then he wants to do the right thing. He's outside the tackle box. He wants to throw the ball away, but the ball doesn't make it to the line of scrimmage. I think he needs to be a little smarter in that regard, just to say, if I'm going to roll out, the plan is I got to get rid of it. At least throw it past the line of scrimmage so we don't get caught with a penalty. And I think he's just got to be on the lookout for a lookout block, which is just when your offensive line just says, look out, Carson. I mean, he's got to have his head on a swivel and be ready for that this week.
We shall see.
Yeah, we shall.
We shall see. He has been the most sacked quarterback in the league, so naturally there's a little bit of hesitation there. And, well, when we come back, though, we're going to talk about somebody else that could potentially get to Ryan Tannehill. That would go a long way as well if our defense can kind of disrupt the quarterback on the other side. Thanks so much, Don Geronimo, for joining us. When we come back, Andre Carter, former player for the Washington football team. He used to line up on the edge, is joining us here. He will be with us. You are watching Command Center Game Day Live on the Washington Commanders YouTube and social media platforms, and this is the Washington Commanders Football Radio Network.
Dude. Fire. Grill master, huh?
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
We'll make a new bet around every 2 seconds. Not only on the game, but on the game of life. Betting that love is just a swipe away. Betting on picking up that curious hitchhiker carrying a bowling bag. And betting that he doesn't turn out to be a cornhole prodigy. Every moment in life is a bet. But life doesn't offer you up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. So bet on America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel, and make every moment more.
Finding the Honda you really want just got easier. With a longer limited warranty, so long. And complimentary oil changes within the first year. You've never been more at peace than with Honda Certified Pre-Owned.
Washington Commanders football is back, and so is our BOGO. On game day, buy 1 large pizza and get a 2nd large pizza for free. Order online or download the app today. Paisanos, official pizza partner of the Washington Commanders.
London was the guy that I always looked at as, like, if I had to have a big brother, you know what I mean? Like, when I was playing here, he was looked at as the big brother of the team. Like, I can look at London. I ain't have to say nothing to I wanted to make sure big brother ain't have to come and say nothing to me. I'm going to handle my business. But I also was a guy that got a lot of respect from just being the guy that's go about my business the way I do and handle my business. When I'm watching you guys, I feel like you that guy. You fit that slot. Now, I told you that the day we was walking. That's when I came out to you and I said something to you because I respect, you know, most players is going to come holler at you, especially when I was a player playing. You get the respect from your peers by showing up, doing your job. I'm an outside guy now, watching you guys. And every time your number called, you're doing your job. You go over and beyond doing your job. So that's why I had to come and holler at you. When it comes to, because I'm sure these guys feel the same way, when it comes to having that kind of notoriety from your peers and being that OG, because you're kind of OG now. You done been in the league long enough. So I'm sure these guys looking up to you. How do you feel about taking on that kind of role?
I feel cool about it. I'm not much of a guy who would get in front of the team and speak though.
Yeah, me either. I wasn't that guy either.
Yeah, so it's cool. I just understand that every day I go on the field, I gotta work my butt off. So because these guys watching, I can't go out there lacking because they may do it too. Yeah. I don't want them to think that this is the right thing to do. Yeah. So I go out there, I try to just put the work in, man, knowing that they watching, man, and if everybody working hard like that, man, we got some good going forward. Mm-hmm.
We are live here from FedEx Field near Section 232. If you're making your way on out to FedEx Field, make sure you stop by the show and say hi. It's an absolute gorgeous day for some football. A little chilly in the shade, but on the field where the sun is shining, it is a perfect day for Washington to hopefully turn things around after a 3-game losing streak. If we talk about how this team has been going under head coach Ron Rivera, they are 5-14 in the months of September and October. Historically, some slow starts, but his teams do heat up. They are 10-8 after November 1st. So let's hope that things can turn around, though, here a little bit earlier than having to wait until November. Joining me now is somebody who would know how to get after the quarterback. Andre Carter had 80.5 sacks in his 13 years in the NFL. 34 of them came playing for Washington. So, Andre, do you have any tips or secrets to talk to that D-line down there and how to try and disrupt Ryan Tannehill today?
Just get after them, please.
Go fast.
Stop the run. You got to stop the run. You know they're going to run the ball. Put them in a situation where they go from 1st and 10 to hopefully 2nd and 8 and 3rd and 7, and then just get after Tannehill and be disruptive.
That would be the key. It always sounds so simple when we break it down here talking about it and on paper, but it's a lot different when you're actually live in the game doing that. You had some great years playing for Joe Gibbs and Greg Williams back in 2006 specifically as well. Tell us some of your greater memories then.
I'll tell you what, nobody knows the story. So upon free agency, I definitely went to Commanders. I almost said
it's okay. It's okay. We understand. Look, we have a long
history
history as the Redskins, so it's okay. That is the team you played for.
But just to kind of see what was on the other side, I had to take a quick trip to Denver Broncos because obviously my dad played for the Broncos, and I was like, what would be great to be a second generational player to play for the organization. However, once I got to Denver, it was Joe Gibbs that allowed me to finalize that decision. Just being a family man, a Christian man, he was just a hard-nosed, old-school football. He was a man that I wanted to fight for day in and day out every Sunday. And I love it to this day. I have no regrets.
A lot of it does go to what the head coach does, right? I mean, of course, Joe Gibbs, 3 Super Bowls, which is what this team is trying to get back to, which is why they brought in head coach Ron Rivera. What is it in the head coach that can kind of unify and get a team together? Because that's what head coach Ron Rivera is trying to do this week, to keep that team together, to believe that today can be the day they turn their season around.
I've had my fair share of head coaches throughout my coaching career, and Joe Gibbs was by far one of the top coaches in addition to Coach Mariucci. I think what it is his connection. You got to have those type of connections with the players. What I mean by connection is just really understanding what a player goes through. Now, not so much the day in, day out operations as a player, but as a man. Joe Gibbs exemplifies that, and he lived it. One thing about him that I just loved, he was just so personable. I mean, he knew you, he knew your family, he knew your kids' names. That goes a long way because, one thing, even though this is a business, Gibbs created a family-like atmosphere to where, look, we know what you do. You're sacrificing your body for the love of the game, for the love of the organization, for the love of your teammates. And so I think that connection, it holds big. And I think one thing that I've known about Coach Ron Rivera, and go Bears, that's my old Cal Bear alum, that's one thing he does very well with.
Nobody has to tell the team where they're currently at. But, of course, we like to remind them in the locker room, like, hey, here's where you're going. You have slow starts. You've been outscored. It's a 3-game losing streak. What are guys saying internally to believe in themselves and to try and say, okay, we have the penalties. We can get past that. We have the ability to be able to bring it together.
Right. Learn from your mistakes. The season is still young. Obviously, it is October, but this is the month where you want to just somehow, some way continue to see some level of improvement, whether from scoring, from defensive stops, because that you and I both know once November comes, and November's going to come around, winning in November is going to be crucial. So you have to utilize and take that momentum in the month of October to really harness your skill sets and continue to win games.
Again, in the month of November, under head coach Ron Rivera, this team is 10-8, opposed to the slow starts to the season of 5-14 in September, October. Of course, we're still October, but it's time to turn that around.
Yes.
We don't want to wait. Andre Carter, thanks so much for stopping by. Enjoy the game. Give the guys down there, some of that juice of how to get to the QB, because if we can kind of confuse Ryan Tannenhill, then maybe there's a little extra chance as well taking this game on defense.
I appreciate it.
Our pregame show is presented by the Washington Times, the exclusive reporting and proud partner of the Washington Commanders. And coming up, our captain, London Fletcher, he joins me from down on the sidelines here at FedEx Field. You are watching Command Center Game Day Live on our social media platforms and on YouTube, and you are listening to Washington Commanders football. Time now for your Fresh Takes, brought to you by Safeway, the official supermarket of the Washington Commanders. We have Logan Paulson and Santana Moss here for this one. Okay, so Washington, they're ready to look past yesterday, those 3 losses in a row, get this big W against Tennessee Titans. Give me your big fresh take, Santana.
My first take would be for this week, our defense is going to come away with 2 turnovers. I think
turnovers?
Last week they were their own worst enemies.
Pretty
they got 2 turnovers and had 2 penalties to go along with them. So this week they would correct that and get us some turnovers.
I like it because they've only got 1 turnover on the day or on the season, which is like the worst in the NFL.
Yeah, and it was Derek Forrest's interception at the end of the game, which didn't really matter. Can they get something in meaningful time? I think that's going to be great to see.
Okay, so what's your fresh take?
My fresh take is that Carson rights the ship this week. I think this defense for Tennessee is good, but it's very conservative, simple coverage structures that he can identify quickly. And then when they do play man coverage, I think we've got enough skill talent to beat them. I think this is the get-right week for Carson. Scott Turner calls an excellent game. Great execution offensively.
How do you see them balancing out the run versus the pass? Because the run is something they relied heavily upon against the Cowboys, but you also don't have Jahan Dotson out there this time, and Curtis Samuel missed time during the week with, being sick. So how do you see them balancing that out against this defense?
I think you got to do what fits, like when you're in the flow of the game, calling the game, like what works best for you. And I think obviously the run was great last week, but I think you still do have enough playmakers, Terry, Logan, all these different pieces. Curtis is probably going to play in the game to execute at a high level. So I think that's important.
Okay.
Tons of playmakers and just got to go out there and do the job.
We need a get-right game. We certainly do. What better place to get it than at home at FedEx Field for the fans? There are your fresh takes.
From selecting the perfect produce and triple checking its quality to preparing it for you, we have perfected the art of fresh.
This is Maya Titan. She's smiling because her small culinary supply store, Titan's Pans, is up and running. And this is NFL star Derrick Henry, accidentally tagging Titan's Pans instead of his loyal fans. Which, very unexpectedly, has her business trending. And trending, and trending, and oh my. And there goes the internet. Good thing Maya uses FedEx to help prepare for unexpected demand. Because you never know what's next.
We are brought to you by RTS, a better waste company. Find out more at rts.com. Joining me now is none other than the captain, the commander, London Fletcher. He is with us this season, every single game in the booth, breaking it down for you. He joins us now. London, I want to talk a little bit about the offense, although I know we'll get to the defense a little bit later, but the offense really is where this team has had some struggles as of late. Every game from Carson Wentz from the start, where he put up well over 300 passing yards and, of course, got this team that very first win. It's been kind of a bit of a steady decline. A lot of that is because of the offensive line. A lot of that is because he's missed throws. He's been sacked 17 times, the most sacked quarterback in the league. What can we do? And how can this team help him to be able to get off to a fast start today?
Well, I like the game plan that the offense came out with against the Cowboys, running the football, being efficient with the running game, and then the short passing games. Now, one thing that Carson has to do also when there are opportunities present yourself to take shots down the field, stand in the pocket, trust the protection, and make the accurate throws. The penalties killed us last week on our first three drives. You had the running game going, and then you get a false start penalty, you get a holding penalty, you get things that put us behind the chains, and the offense and the game plan wasn't designed to kind of deal with those situations last week. The addition of Brian Robinson coming back, that will also boost this offense. I feel like he's another chess piece for this offense. Would love to have Jahan Dotson in the mix, but I'm sure they'll figure out a ways to get Gibson and Robinson on the field together and create some matchup problems for the Tennessee Titans defense.
Slow starts have been a major issue for this team. Carson Wentz, over the first half of the last 3 games, all of them have been losses. 20 for 40 on pass attempts for just 133 yards and 1 touchdown and an interception in that first half. A fast start would be really great to be able to get this off. It would be easy to blame the offensive line for all of the sacks and some of the issues that this team is having. Again, it's not fully their fault, but they are once again shuffling the offensive line as Sam Cosmi had surgery this week. Where is the line now that it stands? What do you think that they're going to be able to do today with who is out there, and where will they be lined up?
Well, we got Sadiq Charles. He'll be the starting right guard in this ball game, and I thought Sadiq did a really good job, especially showcasing athleticism on some of the tunnel screens last week, and it wasn't perfect from a blocking standpoint, but he did show progress. Trey Turner, just with the injuries and all those types of things, Sadiq should be a better fit in the lineup. And also, you got Cornelius Lucas replacing Cosme at the right tackle position. The great thing about him, veteran, he started 7 games for our team last year. He's a seasoned guy. He knows how to play the position well for us. It's not like you have some guys going in there that haven't played together. It's just a situation where you would love some continuity along the offensive line, and that's really been a situation really all since training camp began, just not having the same 5 guys for an extended amount of time.
They have been able to run the ball well. They did that against Dallas, and of course now we hope that probably might be a little bit more of the game plan, especially with Brian Robinson Jr. coming back. And what a story that is, after being shot twice in the leg, that they were just flesh wounds, and he's able to come out here back at practice this week, will be in the game today. An outstanding story. What are you expecting to see from him, and how can he help this offense?
It's just for him to be here, just a tremendous, just what more can you say about him? First and foremost, that he survived such a horrific event, and to be out here playing 5 weeks later. I loved what Brian brings to the offense. What he was showing me in the preseason, his ability to get in and out of cuts, find small creases, always being falling forward at the tackle, never move, falling backwards. He's going to be a real big boost in this offense, especially in the running game, and also with the screens, running back screens and things like that. He'll be definitely a sight for sore eyes, and I don't know how much he'll be utilized today, just with this being his first game, but he's going to elevate the entire offense. He'll elevate the running game. He'll elevate the play of Antonio Gibson, and I can't wait to see him play.
Even if he is out there, they will have to attest for him, and that in and of itself will help this offense out. Now, Curtis Samuel missed a couple of days because of illness. Jahan Dotson is not out there, but we do expect Samuel to be out there. And you have Terry McLaurin, and Terry McLaurin is a player that they have not been able to get going early enough or often enough. What do you think they can do for Terry to be able to get that ball?
I would love for them to move him around a little bit more. Don't just line him up outside so much. Move him around. Put him in the slot. Bring him into motion. Do some things where the defense has to figure out where he's going to line up, have to communicate because he's motioning, and things like that where you're not always lining him up on the outside. He's stagnant, and you know where he's going to be. You can roll coverage over him, over the top, things like that. So being able to move Terry around would be one aspect and one change-up that I would love to see the offense do in order to get him more involved.
The offense, I know offensive coordinator Scott Turner has said, look, it does not go past him that Terry has not been targeted enough or early on enough. Unfortunate that Jahan Dotson is not out there because he has been very reliable.
Yes.
He has led the rookies with touchdowns and, of course, has been a go-to guy, especially in the red zone, despite his size, because he's able to make outstanding catches. We know Terry McLaurin can do that, so it could very well be a big day for him also in the run game with Antonio Gibson and Brian Robson joining him back there. Okay, London, we'll be talking a little defense when we come back. Maybe go hype the guys up down there.
I might just do that, Julie. You know I like to get hyped.
Ooh, do it. Come on, give it to us.
I'm going to go set the tone and the tempo.
There we go. There we go. That's what we need on this team. All right, when we come back here, we're going to get an inside look at the Commanders with beat reporter Ben Standing, covers the team for The Athletic. You are watching Command Center Game Day live on the Washington Commanders YouTube and social media platforms, and this is the Washington Commanders Football Radio Network.
We'll make a new bet around every 2 seconds. Not only on the game, but on the game of life. Betting that love is just a swipe away. Betting on picking up that curious hitchhiker carrying a bowling bag. And betting that he doesn't turn out to be a cornhole prodigy. Every moment in life is a bet, but life doesn't offer you up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. So bet on America's #1 sportsbook, FanDuel, and make every moment more.
Push your limits in a new Camry with gas models including available all-wheel drive and high-performance hybrids with up to 52 miles per gallon, all with breathtaking style and seamlessly integrated tech. Buy a Camry now with 2.49% APR financing. Get more from your ride. Reserve your new Camry today. Toyota, let's go places.
Cool. I pick hard first, so you go first.
All right, I go first. Is he an offensive player?
Yes. Is it an offensive player?
Yes.
All right.
Is he white?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and jump to it. Is he a running back?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, that was a good guess, bro. All right, this next move is big for me. This next move I gotta have. Does he have a beard?
No.
Ooh, I'm close to guessing.
Is it me?
Come on, man. Come on, man. He got it. Hey, come on, man. He got it.
And how about a deal for football season from Lido Pizza? Get an 18-inch two-topping Lido Pizza, 8 pieces of cheesy garlic bread, and a half-pound of boneless wings for only $36.99 plus tax. Joining me now is from The Athletic, Ben Standing. He also has a podcast, Standing Room Only.
You got it.
I got it. I like that. Nice play on words.
I got to get you back on. It's been a minute, so that's why.
Have I even been on before?
Yeah, right after you were brought on board, to turn things around.
I would be happy to. Ben is with the team each and every day, covering them, watching practice as well. Look, this is not the start that we want. We have to be able to try and turn this thing around. The Commanders have now lost 3 in a row, 4-time under head coach Ron Rivera. They've had a losing streak of 3 or more games. Head coach Ron Rivera told J.P. Finley at NBC Sports Washington that, look, they may have to take a hard look at themselves and make some changes should this not turn around. What changes could those potentially be?
It's a great question. So I asked Ron Rivera about those comments, because when you hear that, you think quarterback or you think coordinator. That seems to be a bit early for either. They have obviously made the commitment to Carson Wentz, so I don't see that one happening. And as far as the coordinator goes, it's like who's then calling plays. So if we dial back from that, the one spot, and I think today even maybe it's something to keep an eye on, would be the cornerback situation. They're typically playing 5 defensive backs with 3 corners, right, with Kendall Fuller, William Jackson, then Benjamin St-Juste in the slot. But in a game against Derrick Henry and the Titans, where it's going to be a run-heavy approach, it feels like this is a game where you maybe go with 3 safeties, with Cam Curl, Derek Forrest, and Bobby McCain. And if so, which corner then sits? Logically, it would be St-Juste, but I don't know. He's been a little bit more effective, and obviously Jackson came off a tough game. So if they're talking about making a bold move, maybe that's about as bold as I could see, at least for this one.
I know Benjamin St-Juste had to fill in for William Jackson III, and some have been frustrated by the play because William Jackson was brought in to be kind of like a shutdown corner, and he has struggled kind of mightily in this. St-Juste did a really great job, and they talked about potentially moving him on the outside as well. But, I mean, I'm not sure how you solve that. They just like him on the field. They like his potential. They like his growth as well. So we'll see what they do on defensively, what scheme they may potentially change as well. Let me ask you about Brian Robinson Jr. What a story it is. You were out there watching him kind of warm up and be at practice. How much are you anticipating him being in the game plan today?
Yeah, like every time I get into pure football mode with him, I have to step back and be like, okay, hold up. It's like 5 weeks ago, we were all being told he had been shot twice, and just like your mind races what that could mean. The fact that now, not that long later, he's going to be active for a football game is insane. That said, I don't imagine he's going to play a ton. I mean, you would imagine a pitch count at a minimum. He hasn't been hit, right, in all this time, and they have a game on Thursday. So it is a quick turnaround to boot. So I don't, and plus this is not a position where there's a bunch of injuries on this team. This isn't one of those spots. You have Gibson, Antonio Gibson, you have J.D. McKissick, you also have Jonathan Williams. So they don't have to force him, but they do want his in between the tackles running. So, I don't know, 15, 20 snaps, somewhere in that range would be my guess.
In special teams, kickoff returns, punt returns, it's still been an area that they feel like they've not necessarily gotten what they need from that. We saw in the preseason Antonio Gibson returning kickoffs. Could that be something that we see here today or at some point in the future?
It's interesting, right? So when it looked like Brian Robinson was establishing himself as possibly the lead back, I don't like to use starting, but the guy with more early downs, that's when the Gibson to kick returner shift started. Then when Robinson goes out, they end that. They haven't gotten a lot on the return game either way, and it would be interesting to put Gibson out there for an explosive presence, and maybe this is the game that starts. That is interesting. I mean, I'm not sort of pegging that in my head, but absolutely that was the point when Robinson was going to be available. So, yeah, that would be a lot of fun to watch that happen.
He said he did it in college, and he says he actually likes and enjoys doing that. When you talk to a lot of different guys, sometimes they just want their hands on the ball and the ability to make some plays. That might be an area to keep an eye out on as Robinson returns, at least not at some point in the future as well. John Dotson is out. Who steps up for him?
Great question there, because obviously, logically, De'Ami Brown and Cam Sims would be the guys to get more snaps. I kind of wonder, okay, so Logan Thomas is also out today. We may get to that. Cole Turner is up, and the whole point with Cole Turner this offseason was that he's going to be this big pass-catching presence that they haven't really had at tight end this year, to be honest. And I kind of wonder if he's not only going to be playing for Logan Thomas, does he kind of almost fill that role of Dotson, especially in the red zone, because he's got that size that they don't otherwise have. And I heard you saying before, Dotson's been a huge presence in the red zone for them, even though he's not the biggest guy. But other than that, De'Ami Brown, you would think, if they want to keep with the same sort of alignment, would be the guy to get more work. This is a good spot for him to step up. He's been a bit of a disappointment to date, and it would be good to see him, have more of a presence in the game.
So let's talk about the injury report here. The inactive report is presented by Optima Health Plan, a health plan you can count on. So Jahan Dotson is not out there. Also, you do not have Sam Cosme as he underwent surgery. Tight end Logan Thomas, that's a one because of a calf injury. He is not out there as well. As you mentioned, that's going to be a big body that they do not have on offense. On defense, Percy Butler is not out there as well. And linebacker David Mayo will not be out there. And then do you have the inactives for the Titans?
Yeah, the full list. I mean, they have multiple defensive starters out, including linebacker Bud Dupree and safety Armani Hooker. Also, DB Ugo Amadi, linebacker Zach Cunningham, linebacker Joe Jones, and guard Nate Davis, and another linebacker Ola Adini. They're definitely missing some people on defense.
Let's take advantage, right? That's what you hope.
This is a good time, and you want to keep the ball on your side with your offense, so keep Derrick Henry off the field.
All right, Ben Standing of The Athletic, thank you so much for joining us. Let's hope that you're talking about and writing about a victory at the end of this one. When we come back, we're going to bring up Doc Walker. He's always strong on the mic, everybody. So we're going to have him talk about how Washington can get out of this 3-game losing streak. You are watching Command Center Game Day live on the Washington Commanders YouTube and social media platforms, and you're listening to Washington Commanders football.
Veterans, you may have earned a variety of VA benefits. Did you know VA can help you further your education and pursue professional training? The Home Loan Guarantee Program can help you buy, repair, or adapt a home. VA provides housing support if you find yourself homeless or at risk of homelessness. And don't forget world-class healthcare. Learn more about these and other VA benefits. Visit choose.va.gov.
Finding the Honda you really want just got easier. With a longer limited warranty, so long. And complimentary oil changes within the first year. You've never been more at peace than with Honda Certified Pre-Owned.
You ever wonder why people are always on their phones? They're banking with Bank of America. Look at this guy. He bought those tickets on his credit card and he's racking up the rewards.
She's using Zelle to pay him back for the hot dogs he's about to buy.
That's going to bring it to
And
a
the
close here
announcer?
after 3.
He's not checking the stats. He's finding some investment ideas with Merrill.
And third, as you know, in baseball means 3.
Digital tools so impressive, you just can't stop banking. What would you like the power to do?
That one right there, yeah, that was high school.
With a 71?
Yeah, dude, I was playing center. Wore the double knee braces.
In high school?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, jeez.
I had my wrist tape.
Are you 8 years old?
Bro.
I think that was my sophomore year.
If I see you in high school,
how big
like
was
this,
the helmet?
It would be a
It was
bad day.
large, dude. You just know my neck. I got that small neck. It just makes it look twice as big.
So you're lined up. Think about the picture we just saw of Payne.
Yes.
94, about to squat the weight room. Geez, I love you to death. My money's on Payne, but take me into his eyes. 71, is it Gahanna?
Gahanna.
Gahanna,
Yep,
excuse me. 71 for Gahanna, lined up against 94 Mountaineer. Are you like something straight out of the Little Giants? Like you just start squishing your head in?
I'm playing center, ball shaking my hand, probably a couple false starts, just
High
sweating.
effort guy.
And I am joined by none other than Rick Doc Walker. If we want the truth, we're about to get the truth. Doc.
And the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Well, that is what we need.
So help me God.
That is what we need. Look, you have been on teams where they have had slow starts.
0-5.
Correct.
I've been 0-5. Been
and
here.
Turned it around.
Yeah.
I hear this team is now 1-3. Yeah. And they need to turn it around. So what are you seeing? What is it that this offense, because they have really struggled mightily since the opening game against Jacksonville Jaguars, to kind of get an identity, to get a rhythm going?
Teams struggle because this sport is so reliant on the quarterback. And if the quarterback is not playing at his best, then that unit is jeopardized. Then you counter it with an offensive line, which is the core, which I call center, 2 guards. That's a core. If I got a drop back guy, my core now is really important because he's not built on mobility. He's built for protection. Well, my center out and my left guard is still here. My right guard has been replaced. That's all you need to know. Now, if I do that with the 7-step drops as opposed to 3 to 5, I got issues.
So one of those are the challenges that he had. I mean, he's been sacked more than any quarterback in the league, 17 times, and that can kind of mess with your psyche when you've been hit that often. But he is dropping far back, and there's been talks about how he needs to be able to step up in the pocket.
Exactly.
What is it for him to do that then? Because I know that they've had very difficult conversations with him. When he does step back, he leaves himself vulnerable. He's throwing off. He's missing guys, and it's become a little bit of a problem. Is it a mindset for him?
Well, yeah, everything, all the above. Tom Brady, the GOAT, he lost his center in training camp. And as a result, they're not as fluid or as smooth as you like to see them. Everything's dependent. What we're dependent on right now are people in that control room that are adjusting the volume and the depth and everything. This works. Now, can you beat it? Yeah, you can, but Carson's got to do it. When you get $28 million, you get it because you're able to do things that others can't. Well, it's time to show it.
What can they do? Last week, they tried to run the ball a little bit more.
Did it well.
They did do it well.
Did it well.
Not well enough, though. The penalties cost them heavily. 11 penalties for, 136 yards when you're going the opposite direction. What can they do? Logan Thompson out there. Do they put in extra tight ends? Do they have extra guys to kind of maybe help protect Carson so he can get comfortable?
You can move the pocket. Well, you're right. You can either overload by adding a tight end, the smartest, usually the best-looking guys on the team. So
Coming from a former tight end.
I'm just being honest with you. Just look at the tight end position right now. You be the judge. I want 2 of them on the field. Also may have to move my pocket.
Right.
If my core is damaged, then let's forget that and move it a little bit. But he just got to play better. Can he do it? Yes. Why do I feel comfortable? Because I know he has it in him. He's got to believe in that, and he's got to get some luck. Our wide receivers, we're without one of our diamonds for the first time. The baby's played well. When your baby is playing really well, that means you drafted well and your team is building. We need help. We need somebody to be a hero, as I like to say.
Do you want to see something different from the play calling from offensive coordinator Scott Turner?
No, it's not about the play calling in my mind. It's the execution of what's called. I don't put that on play call. I call that on the players. Play better, do your job, or be replaced.
I know when they looked over the film, there were just plays where Carson Wentz just simply made the wrong play. He missed the open receiver, and that would allude you to say the playbook is just fine. It's they have not executed it the way that it has been drawn up, which is quite frustrating. Let me ask you, though, about Montez Sweat in the defense. He does not have a sack through the first 4 games, but you hear them saying that he's just really close. What have you seen from him? How is he impacting the game? What does he need to do?
I love him. Had I not seen his work ethic in camp, I'd be questioning him. I saw it. Puts in the work, first to come, last to leave. All those things, he checks every box. What he doesn't check is he doesn't get home. So he's not getting the job done. So you're not paid for effort. You're paid for results. And the only way I know how to stimulate a guy is that if you don't give me the results, then I don't give you playing time. Because if the backup can't do better than him, then we're going to hell in a handbasket. That's what it comes down to. If you're a first-round draft pick, get the job done or move out of the way so somebody else can.
What is it he's doing well right now?
Effort. His effort is there, but this is a technique business. He played against a rookie that the Cowboys destroyed a week earlier. There's no excuses. You got a rookie on you, and you're number 1. Perform. Get the job done or don't eat.
Jamin Davis is actually the defensive player leading the team with 3 sacks, actually. So have you seen a change and kind of a little bit of growth in him?
Yeah, I have. He's doing exactly what I'm saying. You're number one. You were a little confused. You had to get to it. They had to learn how to utilize him. You know what the Cowboys did with a guy very similar to him? They put his hand down. And they said, go get the quarterback. This kid is loaded with the same talent. Use him better. And that's what Del Rio and those guys are doing. I love that kid. I like our prospects. We got a couple of guys right now that are not getting the job done. But their effort is there. Our secondary, you either got to put up or please walk off the field.
You don't win games with just that. You have to be able to make sure that you do get home. We appreciate the effort. Of course, you want the results for that. Rick Doc Walker, thanks so much for joining us here. You do look good, sir. You do. You do.
Good seeing your
All right.
family, too.
When we come back, London Fletcher is going to be joining us here. We are just over an hour away from kickoff. You are watching Command Center Game Day Live on the Washington Commanders YouTube and social media platforms, and you are listening to Washington Commanders Football Radio Network.
Pizza, better with Pepsi. You ever wonder why people are always on their phones? They're banking with Bank of America. Look at this guy. He bought those tickets on his credit card and he's racking up the rewards.
She's using Zelle to pay him back for the hot dogs he's about to buy.
That's going to bring it to
And
a
the
close here
announcer?
after 3.
He's not checking the stats. He's finding some investment ideas with Merrill.
And third, as you know, in baseball means 3.
Digital tools so impressive, you just can't stop banking. What would you like the power to do?
Finding the Honda you really want just got easier. With a longer limited warranty, so long. And complimentary oil changes within the first year. You've never been more at peace than with Honda Certified Pre-Owned.
Well, my baby doll gives me special love. It's the kind of stuff.
Honey, it's your turn.
I'm on cloud 9.
Pizza, better with Pepsi.
Let's get straight to it. It's been a rough few weeks, you know, and you feel it. The players feel it. The media is asking you questions left and right. So let's go right into it. What do you do in these situations when you're a 3-game losing streak to kind of just reset everything?
Well, I think first and foremost is you got to look at what you're doing, be honest about it, and continue to work at it. You know, there are some things that we've done that have been done well, and those things we got to continue to improve on. We've got to continue to work on, get better at, and go out and continue to play hard. Things turn, and when they do turn, they can turn very quickly and be really positive.
We've heard a lot of players, and Carson also say, look, I mean, there are some times where you're just so close on making a play, missing a play, making a tackle, missing a tackle, that would result in totally different outcomes. But when your offense is struggling like it is, the offensive line is struggling, the quarterback struggling, it's what can you do in your experience to kind of like set that straight?
Well, you know, it's a matter of going back, looking at what you do well, and do those things repeatedly. It doesn't matter, but if you continue to do those things, keep pounding away at it, you got a chance to make something positive happen, something pop. And before you know it, you get a little momentum, and then you're on your run.
have you with us. We are presented by Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company, now with lower workers' comp rates and a corporate dividend. We are here live at FedEx Field near Section 232 if you are making your way on out for what is the crucial catch game, the Think Pink game. So you will see the stadium all decked out in pink. You can also make sure you get your Command the Cure shirts that support breast cancer awareness as well. Joining me now and coming back on into the show and program is London Fletcher. London, we want to talk a little defense now as number 5 to the 9 joins us. London, let me talk about John Allen, Deron Payne. They are going to have their day cut out for them because Derrick Henry is coming to town. We know what Derrick Henry is able to do. What is the key in trying to slow him down?
You know, it's actually, I look at the way they run their outside zone. A lot of more pressure is going to be on the defensive end, whether it's Sweat, James Smith-Williams, Casey Toohill, F.F. Bada. Those guys are going to have to be great holding the edges because what the Tennessee Titans like to do, run a lot of outside zone, get Henry outside. Obviously, you want to see Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen get penetration into the backfield, and they'll have some opportunities to do that against the guards of the Tennessee Titans, but it's more pressure on the defensive ends, I feel, making sure they don't give up the edges of the defense.
Yeah, Derrick Henry is a little bit different of a running back, the way that they do rely on their run game compared to the way the Cowboys did. They can wear you out, having to go sideline to sideline. You got to make sure you do lock those edges out. Look, turnovers would really help here.
Yes.
Washington only has 1 turnover so far this season. That is the least in the NFL. By the way, this is exciting coming to FedEx Field. I have the marching band, which is so great to have them back. They are just posting up right here in front of our set, which is great, but it is making it loud. But what an atmosphere we are trying to create here for fans that are coming on out. Glad to have the marching band back, but tell us, what is the key to trying to get some takeaways?
Well, first and foremost, being in position to make takeaways or get takeaways, whether it's interceptions on the ball, forced fumbles. We've only forced 1 fumble in these 4 ball games also. So whether it's forcing a fumble, sacking the quarterback, knocking the ball out of his hands, knocking the ball out of the running back's hand, whatever you got to do to get takeaways, we definitely need those things. It could help our offense out tremendously. When you look at the Tennessee Titans, the last 2 ball games, one of the things that they've been able to do is take the ball away. They have 4 takeaways in those games, and that's why they're on the 2-game winning streak.
Every other team has had at least 3 takeaways. This is the fewest takeaways Washington has had through the first 4 games of the season since 1998, when it also only had 1. Of course, they've been giving the ball away more than taking it away. Look, you were always known to be a very mentally tough player. You were that one that when you ran out of the tunnel, you knew that you had that defense locked in, setting the tone, setting the tempo. What does the mindset need to be for this team coming out here on a 3-game losing streak?
Just attack today, be more attention to detail oriented. I thought we did a lot of good things, really good things in the game against the Cowboys, but the penalties obviously killed us. There was some lack of attention to detail in some areas that end up costing us, whether it was offensively or defensively. Just play with confidence too. These are the things that you want to do in order to win the ball game. I hope every man, two-way man, looked at the film and realized what they need to do better, whether it's the coaches coaching better or the players playing better. But to a man, to turn this thing around, I don't care how well you played last week, everybody has to play better and take it upon themselves.
Everybody needs to play better. It is a team game, and that is what it will take. You can't point your finger at just necessarily one player that's saying they are not getting it done, although there are a few that could definitely and need to step up. Give us those 2 to 3 players.
It's obviously when you look at what's happening on the back end of the defense, Jackson, he had a rough game last week with the penalties and the pass interference and things like that. Don't panic when the ball's downfield, which he did on one of the occasions. He was in good position, but now just relax and trust your judgment, trust your technique, not panic. That's one guy on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, Sadiq Charles, I feel like he needs to step. He's going to be starting. I thought he did some good things. As far as getting out there on the screens, he'll have to be a little bit better in pass protection. It's going to be on him. That's my second guy. Third guy, maybe Clinton Fuller. You look at a couple weeks ago, he had a rough go at it. We need him to step his game up also. And I know these guys can do it.
The Tennessee Titans are giving up a lot of explosive plays. One of the worst in the league at that. So has Washington been there as well on giving up explosive plays, albeit the defense has played better. We talk a lot about Derrick Henry. Who else on their offense? Because you mentioned William Jackson, you mentioned Kendall Fuller. Who else do they need to attest to? Is there something in the passing game that this team needs to focus in on?
Well, obviously, when you run the football the way the Titans do, play action becomes a major aspect of that. So you can't get so caught up in stopping Derrick Henry. So when the play action comes, you're as running back, as linebackers and safeties, you're so coming up so close to the line of scrimmage that you open up windows on that second level where Tannehill is able to hit his receivers, whether it's Robert Woods or some of the other guys they have. I don't know if Kyle Phillips is up. He's a kind of a safety blanket, a guy that Tannehill likes to get the ball to. Those are guys you have to worry about when you look at the Tennessee Titans in the passing game.
Do not give up explosive plays, turn the ball over, and every player looking at themselves and doing their jobs and doing it better than they have over the last 3 games, and we'll walk out of here with a W. London Fletcher, we will get to you again a little bit later, and of course in the booth with Bram Weinstein and myself calling the game. And when we come back, Bram will be joining me once again as we are under an hour to kick off here at FedEx Field. You are watching Command Center Game Day Live on the Washington Commanders YouTube and social media platforms, and you are listening to Washington Commanders football. Time now for your keys to winning, brought to you by Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? If Washington is going to get back in the win column, we got to get to our keys to a victory here. I have Santana Moss and Logan Paulson. These guys have spent all week watching practice, breaking down film, and so they have the answers. I'm going to get the answers from you, right? Don't you have all the answers?
Yeah, most of them. Try to.
Most of them. Okay, let's get it. What would be your keys to winning? What has to go right for Washington?
My key to this game is, can Washington's defense stop the run and stop Derrick Henry? Not because Derrick Henry is this it's because he is the catalyst for the entire offense. They run the football, they play action off of it. It helps with their protection. It helps them receivers get open. They don't have these really dynamic playmakers, but it doesn't matter because the defenses have to accommodate for Derrick Henry. They give these offenses all this space. So that is what I think is the most important thing. Can they stop the run, keep Derrick Henry contained, because everything they do offensively comes off of that.
I'm with him on that one. I think that Derrick Henry is going to be a big guy to really go out there and shut down. I think our defense has been doing well in that in the last 2 weeks. But my number one key would be the offense has to rise to the challenge. I mean, I keep talking about complementary football. The defense has risen. We talked about them early in the season. They corrected some things. They're playing better. You can see down the line individually. Offensively, we have to protect Carson, and we have to make plays and score a touchdown.
There's a lot of talk this week on marrying the pass with the run, something that they've yet to do to really get fully into rhythm. It would be nice to be able to see them get right in this game at home. And, of course, Derrick Henry, he is the engine that goes. Limit him, make somebody else make the play. There you go. Your keys to winning. See, told you we had all the answers here.
You ever wonder why people are always on their phones? They're banking with Bank of America. Look at this guy. He bought those tickets on his credit card, and he's racking up the rewards.
She's using Zelle to pay him back for the hot dogs he's about to buy.
That's going to bring it to
And
a
the
close here
announcer?
after 3.
He's not checking the stats. He's finding some investment ideas with Merrill.
And third, as you know, in baseball means 3.
Digital tools so impressive, you just can't stop banking. What would you like the power to do?
Washington Commanders football is back, and so is our BOGO. On game day, buy 1 large pizza and get a second large pizza for free. Order online or download the app today. Paisanos, official pizza partner of the Washington Commanders.
Finding the Honda you really want just got easier. With a longer limited warranty, so long. And complimentary oil changes within the first year. You've never been more at peace than with Honda Certified Pre-Owned.
Dude, fire. Grill master, huh?
Burgers, better with Pepsi.
Let's go around the league here. I want to start in the NFL. There's actually a game going on right now. It is the New York Giants taking on the Packers at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, and it is the Giants that have had 17 unanswered. They are leading 27-20 with just 6 minutes to go. What's going on with New York?
It's a surprise.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley got hurt as well in this game and went out in the second half. They were down by 10 at halftime. I don't think we look at them and go, they're going to be an explosive offensive team. Kenny Galladay's barely been part of the offense, isn't playing today. Kadarius Toney isn't there today. Frankly, I don't know how they're doing this. And so they've got this feel like we had in 2020, first year under Ron Rivera. Things just kind of came together for them at a period of time, and maybe they're more dangerous under Brian Daboll than we thought. We'll see.
Apparently to start the season so far they are, and I know their defense has been pretty key as well, but 17 unanswered, my goodness, against the Packers. Philadelphia keeping it here in the NFC East, the NFL's only remaining team that is unbeaten 4-0. The last time an unbeaten team, well, I guess, it doesn't happen very often that a team that is the last unbeaten actually goes to the postseason. 15 seasons that has not done that. What's going on with Philadelphia?
Well, we got to see them a couple weeks ago. I think that they their upgrades clearly were right on the mark. A.J. Brown was a perfect pickup for them. James Bradbury really fortifies the secondary. Hassan Reddick was a great pickup for the pass rush for them. They're playing really well. They run the ball really well. They get out the leads. I think they're dangerous. I think we both kind of thought they'd be the team to beat in the NFC East this year. They certainly look like it. And I do think there's also another thing that's going on here in the NFL right now, which is overall pedestrian play across the league. I mean, there are more entering this week 2-2 teams than there have been ever. We saw the game on Thursday night. I don't know what in the world that was. There's been a lot of pedestrian play, and the Eagles have seemed to be kind of above all of that at this point, and they certainly are the team to chase in our division for sure.
Dallas is now 3-1. If we now round out the NFC East, they're taking on the 2-2 Rams in Los Angeles. 4:25 is the kickoff for that one, and they're doing it with Cooper Rush.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. We saw this last week. They're very good in play action. I think Ezekiel Elliott looks a lot better than he did last year, like kind of pre-injury Ezekiel Elliott. They lean on the run. They know who they are. They're not making a ton of mistakes right now, and their defense is very, very, very aggressive, and they're capable of turning games very quickly with turnovers. So they're dangerous, and by beating Washington last week, it does kind of feel like they were trying to get Dak back, but at 3-1, they went, you know what? Why don't we slow this down a little bit? They're 3-2. If they lose today, it bought them another week with Dak Prescott, and it makes them dangerous.
They have their bye week coming up as well. Go ahead and get your quarterback fully healthy if the backup's able to manage the game and get them in the position that they are in. Meanwhile, total opposite story in the NFC East for Washington. Look, it's very early. I don't want to sit there and the team is saying, and head coach Ron Rivera and Carson Wentz are saying, it's not time to press the panic button. But, they have to say that. Where are you on saying this is kind of like a must-win? We're in that mode where we might be close to panic.
I think if you want to win the division, this is why it's not 2020, because of what we said about Philadelphia, maybe surprisingly Dallas, and now New York. You can't get in the kind of hole that they got in a couple of years ago and think that you're going to get out of it. So from that perspective, if you want to be a player for the division by the end of all of this, I think they got to win today. For a playoff race, this is an out-of-conference game, so it's not devastating if they lose. But 1-4 going into a short week, that doesn't feel like a recipe to get anywhere, by the time January rolls around. So this feels like a big one. And we talked about this last hour, and I'm sure you talked to everybody about it. I like this matchup for them today for a lot of the reasons, like just the way Tennessee plays, where Washington's rush defense has been the last couple of weeks, and knowing that they have to stop, maybe the best running back in the NFL today. I like the matchup today. They're at home. Take advantage of it. No time better than the present to try to turn the season around today.
1-4 would be very hard to make it into the postseason should that be where they end up at the end of this. At 1-4, that means you have a 4.95% chance to make the postseason. Only 11 out of 222 teams since 1990 have gone on to extend their season, starting with 1-4. Of course, Washington right now 1-3. They did that in 2020. Actually, they started 1-5 and won the division. But as you mentioned, this is not the same NFC East as it was a couple of years ago when we were calling it the NFC least. You're going to have to step up your play. Give us some fantasy football that you're expecting today.
So, it's easy to say Derrick Henry for Tennessee, but I also think, because of some suspect corner play the last couple weeks and the good play action, I would watch Robert Woods today. I hope that they can limit him a little bit. He's a very good route runner. Nothing really explosive by them, but he could have a lot of targets, a lot of catches out of play action. And for Washington today, I know a lot of news is about Brian Robinson. I love the idea of getting Antonio Gibson out of the backfield again, catching the ball out of the backfield. I think they're going to get some good matchups with the linebackers, and I'd like to see AG have the game like he had in week 1 with all the catches and making some plays in space.
The Fantasy Football Report is presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official partner of the Washington Commanders. Again, no Jahan Dotson, no Logan Thomas as well. So maybe it is AG, Terry McLaurin, some of those guys getting in on the action for fantasy folks today. Well, kickoff is not far now. Up next, Fred Smoot. He's going to amp things up for us. It is time to take a break from this 3-game losing streak. You are watching Command Center Game Day live on the Washington Commanders YouTube and social media platforms, and you are listening to the Washington Commanders Football Radio Network.
Come on, Mr. Sanders, focus.
Jamie Foxx, what's up, my man? What up, Barry? Got time to chat bets? Yeah. All right, good. So we got Cincy over Cleveland, right? Boom, there you go. Mm-hmm. Now, parlay time. Would you put Miami in with L.A., Vegas, and Denver? No. Terrible. I was feeling that, though.
What did Jamie Foxx want?
Oh, I've got no idea. Come on, serve it up.
From selecting the perfect produce and triple checking its quality to preparing it for you, we have perfected the art of fresh.
This is Maya Titan. She's smiling because her small culinary supply store, Titan's Pans, is up and running. And this is NFL star Derrick Henry, accidentally tagging Titan's Pans instead of his loyal fans. Which, very unexpectedly, has her business trending. And trending, and trending, and oh my. And there goes the internet. Good thing Maya uses FedEx to help prepare for unexpected demand. Because you never know what's next.
Time now to go around the league, delivered by FedEx, where now meets next. Everybody is decked out in pink here today at FedEx Field. It is our Think Pink game, the crucial patch game to raise awareness for breast cancer and all cancers around the NFL. You will see a whole bunch of pink here at FedEx Field. If you are coming on out, make sure you put your pink on as well. Mm-hmm. Fred Smoot joins us now.
Yes.
You got your pink ribbon on there.
I got my pink ribbon on.
Yeah.
You know
who pinned that on you?
Me.
I thought so.
I got like 3 thumbs on one hand. You know how it goes.
You can watch us on our social media platforms. You're also listening to us on Big 100, the flagship radio station. Fred put his pink ribbon on, but it's down at his belly button, basically.
You know how it goes, Julie.
Yeah, well, you're here.
Yeah.
So you almost didn't make it here. I was asking what your 40 time was because we figured you were sprinting to the set.
Well, I was actually up there with Miss Snyder with the pink ribbon thing and with a lot of survivors. And it's personal to me because I lost my mom to cancer, so I know how it affects not only the people around here but the whole world when it comes to cancer. So it means a lot to me. So that's why I ran down here. I still got a nice 40 on me, Julie. I think it's like maybe a 4.9 or something right now, but I can run.
Okay, you did. You made it in time. We will be hosting a bunch of breast cancer survivors here. They will be on the field as well. So really great to be able to do that and to have them here. Of course, our co-owner, Tanya Snyder, is a breast cancer survivor herself as well. So this is something that she takes very personally. And she really kind of started this whole initiative in the league, giving out pink ribbons, which we are all wearing today. But of course, we want to honor them, and we'd love to honor them with a victory. So let's talk about how we can get out of this 3-game funk, Fred. What's going on in that locker room?
First of all, if you're in the locker room, you're saying this. We got what it takes to win these games. Let's get out our own way. We're going to start there first. All right, we got to stop with the mistakes, and it started with Carson Wentz. All right, a lot of these sacks that's going on, he's holding the ball too long. And one thing that I saw while I watched film on him was his base when he throws is too wide of a base. And I'm a cornerback. And the one thing we love to see with a quarterback is the extended throwing motion. And that's what he has. He needs to tighten that throwing motion down. That gives us less chance to break on the ball. And everybody needs to get on the same level. And when I say same level, I'm talking about offensive coordinator and quarterback, mixing the run with the pass, keeping the Titans off balance. At the end of the day, we match up well against this team. All right, they run the ball, and we know who they got over there running the ball, King Henry, the mountain who runs. You cannot let him get started, and I think that gives us a chance to win this game, Julie.
Let me ask you about some of the big explosive plays that Washington has been giving up. The Titans are right there with them. Both teams are in the bottom of the league on giving up explosive plays. For all the defense having played better, that has been very costly for them as well. We've seen William Jackson III have challenges. We've seen Kendall Fuller have challenges. We've seen a couple of interceptions called back last week because of penalties as well. Where is the breakdown happening in the secondary?
Well, I wish I had one answer for that. Sometimes it's communication. Sometimes we're not on the same page. Sometimes we're just not finishing plays. So at the end of the day, everything has to work accordingly. The pass and the pass rush and the coverage have to work together. Because I see Montez Sweat 1 inch from a sack. Then I see Kendall Fuller 1 inch from an interception. That means we need to all get on the same page so we can collectively start to make those plays. And you're right, William Jackson III, he needs to show up today and make some plays and actually show why they pay him as a top corner in this league. Kendall Fuller, I know he wants to make sure that the back end is on the same page because he's the talker. He's the smart guy back there. But at the end of the day, they just have to finish plays. And today is the day to get on pace and to do that.
When you have a player as dynamic as Derrick Henry, do you need to adjust your personnel out there on the field?
Yes, you better, Julie. All right, this is the guy that takes people's jobs. He's a soul taker. At the end of the day, he's the mountain that runs. And the way you stop a mountain is not let him get started at all. So it's going to be up to John Allen, Deron Payne, to not let this guy get started. And if you can get them behind the chains on first down, then they cannot run the ball on second down, forcing them to put the game in Ryan Tannehill's hands. If we can put the game in Ryan Tannehill's hands, I think we have a chance to leave here with a win today.
Ryan Tannehill's been pretty good at just managing the game, but I think they've been a little frustrated as well that he's not necessarily somebody, he can make all the throws by all means, but he's not somebody that is really kind of taking them that extra step that they would really want, kind of the same as what we've been asking here of
But
Carson.
His wide receiving core, that's the problem. His wide receiving core doesn't add up to our wide receiving core, and that's why we're frustrated, because we have the guys, Terry, who I think we got to get involved early and often in this game. Curtis Samuel's proven that he can move the ball. Like, Johan Dawson's going to be missed, but Cam Sims, listen to me, I think he can step in and make some plays if they just give him a chance to. And Cole Turner, a guy that everybody been waiting to see, can he play? A big wide receiver, a fast tight end, whatever you want to call him, he can go out there and make plays also.
Yeah, no Logan Thomas as well out there. So what is the key for Washington then? Because their secondary, just as I mentioned, of Washington, they will give you your chances.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You can't get this wide receiver core this chance. This is not a deep wide receiver core. You have to force Ryan Tannehill to beat you. All right, this game is on the back end. Front end, go get the quarterback. Back end, do your job, simply.
It always sounds so simple when that. I mean, I feel like everybody that's up here says it's real simple. Do your job.
Well, you know, you got a PhD in football like I do. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to lend you this knowledge that I have. It's simply stop the run, force Ryan Tannehill to beat you, and defense go make play after play after play. Take him out the game early.
Okay, try and confuse Ryan Tannehill, get him off his spot. And, of course, yes, Derrick Henry. He just put up over 100 yards last week. 114 on 22 carries, also a season high for him. Fred Smoot will be on the post-game show with Scott Jackson. Make sure you come right on back to our YouTube channel to watch that. And, of course, you can listen in on Big 100. Thank you so much, Fred. Glad you still have the wheels on you to make it here.
Yeah. And stop hating on my ribbon. It's all right. Come on now. Stop the hate.
We're going to talk to one of the game's best tight ends of all time here when we come back. Vernon Davis is joining me here from FedEx Field. You're watching Command Center Game Day live on the Washington Commanders YouTube and social media platforms, and you are listening to Washington Commanders football.
You never know where the day will take you, so be ready for anything in a Toyota RAV4. Check out a 40-mile-per-gallon hybrid with the best resale value in its class for 22 according to Kelley Blue Book's KBB.com. And save now with 2.49% APR financing. Connect with your dealer through buyatoyota.com and reserve your new RAV4 today. Toyota, let's go places.
Waste, man, you're nothing.
Knackered.
I've been there a few times over the last week. You're tired.
The dog's bollocks.
The best of what you do.
Let's crack on.
Get on with your job and keep going.
My word for you is waste man.
Like somebody that's not cool, like you lame.
Yeah.
Let's go.
A waste man. If I say it like Markin is a waste man.
Oh, yeah, bomb. Waste of space.
Waste man.
Garbage man.
It means a loser. David Bader's a waste man. All right, I got another one for you. It's knackered.
Who?
Knackered.
Oh, that sounds like a pastry or something. What the hell is that? It's a cupcake?
Means you're tired.
Who the hell made that up? Bruv.
Do you know about bruv?
Yeah, I know about bruv.
Knackered. David looks knackered on a screenplay.
Oh, it's fast? Be fast?
No, you don't you dare. It means tired and
I'm always fast. I'm always fast. Always.
What do you think the dog's bollocks means?
Say it again?
Dog's bollocks.
Spell it.
D-O-G bollocks.
I guess it's the dog's draws.
Tears is the dog's bollocks.
The dog.
It means the best at what they do. It's the best ever.
I guess I'm the dog's bollocks then.
The dog's bollocks.
If someone is lazy, like really lazy.
It's actually the opposite. It's like the best at what they do. Dog's bollocks. J-Will is the dog's bollocks in the run game.
A beast.
The ends.
Is that like your neighborhood?
Hey, let's go! The ends. When you're in London, you're in my ends.
My city, my town.
To crack on.
When you like trying to get on somebody, like when you trying to talk to a girl or something like that, or a guy, you know what I mean? So if I'm gonna crack on with somebody, like I'm gonna try to like get their number or try to get to know them or try to take them out on a date. Like, so you'll crack on, and I don't want them to mug me off.
Oh, you gotta put the mug me off in there.
And 19, and he is also a Maryland Terrapin. Vernon Davis joins us. Glad to have you here, Vernon.
Good to be here, Julie.
Yeah, you stay pretty busy these days. What are you not doing, basically? You're singing, you're acting, you have businesses going on.
Well, you have to. I think you, like the next chapter of your career, especially after the game is over, you have to really make sure that you do all you can to figure it out. And, you know, I've been taking my time and just going at it one day at a time.
stepping away after 16 seasons couldn't be easy. I'm sure you probably could have put a few more years out there. Logan Thomas is not out there today. We're a little light at tight end.
Well, you're right. I can replace him.
Okay,
yeah.
There we go. Look, but seriously here, what you've been watching this team, like the challenges that they've been having a little bit on offense. When you have a team and the quarterback is kind of struggling, he's getting sacked, the offensive line continues to shift. You have players up and down. You're dealing with injuries, but you have a lot of weapons on offense. What is that one thing that says, okay, this is how we turn it around?
I think just having faith, believing in yourself, and knowing that you guys are going to come through. I mean, I've had many moments. I remember even playing here where we just couldn't get things rolling. But if they stay in it and they trust each other and not point fingers and blame each other when things are going bad, I think they can turn this thing around.
What are you seeing in one of the biggest challenges that they are having breakdowns on offense?
Execution, mental blocks. I think that's it. That's always the issue when guys aren't able to execute. It's just the mental part of the game. So you have to stay focused and just know what you have to do. Everyone has to take care of their own self.
We know Carson Wentz has the ability to make every throw out there. He has got that arm, and that can really stretch the field. But he's been, struggling as of late since the season opener. And of course, I would imagine, it gets into your head when you've been sacked 17 times. That's the most in the league. To be able to step up in there. What does, if you're on this team and you're the tight end of that room, what are you doing to try and help out your quarterback?
I'm going to, accountability. That's the biggest thing. Just showing up for each other. Like I said before, just being accountable, holding yourself to a high standard, and being positive. Words of just great positive words, especially for your quarterback, and especially a guy like Wentz, this is his first year here with the Commanders. So it's going to take him time to get acclimated to his weapons as far as the receivers go, and just being acclimated to the organization.
Do you see, places where, because this team understands where they're at and things are not going their way, where they're trying to maybe force things too much, and there's a little bit of maybe a panic that they run the route too much or turn too soon, or you have all these, because last week they had 11 different penalties. Is that just a result of maybe going, what is it? Basically, what is that kind of mindset for them when they get themselves into those situations?
Yeah, when you're penalized, that's just a lack of concentration, lack of focus, and it's up to the coaches to really reiterate that to them, because you can forget, especially when you're losing. Just focus, just know what you have to do, and it all starts in practice. They have to do it in practice, because everything that you do in practice will show on game day. So they have to really make sure they're cognizant of being exact and precise.
The captains. What kind of a role in the team leaders do they play in these moments, and what can they do to kind of try and really step up as well?
The team leader is an extension of the head coach, because the head coach gives them a job. He assigns them that role for a reason, to be there during times like this. Because it's hard. When you're in that hole, it's hard to get out. And the one thing that you can do is go to those captains, go to those leaders, because they're always going to be there. They're going to know exactly what to say and how to lead the team.
We do have plenty of captains on this team. Tell us a little bit about where can they find it? Your music, your movies. What's coming up next?
Yeah, they can find the music Bounce Like This on all platforms. It's a great song. It reminds me of my life, like right now, leaving football, making music, movies. And this is how it's supposed to be. This is how we're supposed to rock.
And we saw you did the video here at FedEx Field as well, right?
Yeah, I did the video here at FedEx Field. That was super fun.
I won't have you sing us to break, though.
Okay.
No?
Yeah, let's do it.
You want to?
Yeah,
okay, why don't you do this? You do it in your words.
Coming up?
Yeah.
All right. Coming up, Washington could use more sacks today against Ryan Tannehill this afternoon. Jamin
Davis.
Jasmine. Where's the S? Jamin Davis lead the Commanders with 3 sacks so far, and the second-year linebacker chats with London Fletcher next.
Keep going.
Out cue. Okay. You're watching Command Center Game Day live on the Washington Commanders YouTube and social media platforms. And this is the Washington Commanders Football Radio Network.
Pizza, better with Pepsi. You ever wonder why people are always on their phones? They're banking with Bank of America. Look at this guy. He bought those tickets on his credit card and he's racking up the rewards.
She's using Zelle to pay him back for the hot dogs he's about to buy.
That's going to bring it to
And
a
the
close here
announcer?
after 3.
He's not checking the stats. He's finding some investment ideas with Merrill.
And third, as you know, in baseball means 3.
Digital tools so impressive, you just can't stop banking. What would you like the power to do?
Finding the Honda you really want just got easier. With a longer limited warranty, so long. And complimentary oil changes within the first year. You've never been more at peace than with Honda Certified Pre-Owned.
Washington Commanders football is back, and so is our BOGO. On game day, buy 1 large pizza and get a second large pizza for free. Order online or download the app today. Paisanos, official pizza partner of the Washington Commanders.
In the NFL, is like every week is like a different monster with the backs. I know last week we had Pollard and Zeke, and they own beasts, and D-Hen like he's really their offense. So we already know it's going to be a big focus on getting him the ball, and we're going to have to stop him. So.
Still look over there. The guy is really big, really fast, and talented. Understands how to run, how to set up blocks. So don't want to make it out to be more than it is. There are a lot of talented running backs in the league, but he's certainly, right up there with the best in our game. And so it's going to be a big challenge.
I think we're all on the same page, honestly, but at the same time, I think that communication continually has to be talked about. I think it has to be set by the coaches and then by the leaders, myself included, to make sure that permeates throughout the rest of the team and understand that while our record is 1-3 right now, the season is not over. And if you want things to change, then you have to, change your behavior, or otherwise you keep doing the same things over and over again. It's kind of like insanity. So I think we all have to take that accountability individually as a group, offensively, defensively, coaches, all that together, and see how we put that together and hopefully have a better outcome.
Has started to grasp onto the defense more than he did in his rookie season on out, as he's much more comfortable in what is being asked of him from defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio. Of course, they called him out earlier on in the season. He actually leads the team with 3 sacks, and this week he caught up with our captain and linebacker, London Fletcher. Here's that conversation.
You're off to a strong start in your second season, 3 sacks in 4 games already. How comfortable are you feeling right now this season?
I mean, completely different outcome from how it started out for me last year. It's just more so, like I said before, just going out there and trying to play a lot faster and just really be myself. This offseason, one of the biggest things for me was just trying to eliminate a lot of the extra thinking. So, now, like I said, just going out there and trying to be myself.
When you say eliminate the extra thinking, what do you feel has been your biggest improvement on the field this season?
One of them things where it's like you've seen this play before, so you can kind of anticipate it a lot more and just trying to go out there and play faster to it than you did before last year.
It's great that you mentioned seeing this play before. One thing I noticed in the ball game against Dallas the other day, they got you in a situation where they had a stack release with C.D. Lamb, and you had him in coverage, and he beat you across your face. Right. They tried that same play later on in the game, and you made a great adjustment. Right, you knew it was coming, and you recovered it. DeBron knocked the ball down, but you were going to knock the play down, the pass down also. Is that part of just that growth and understanding you see a play?
Yeah, that's basically the same exact thing. It's like knowing plays that you've seen before and knowing exactly how you're supposed to play it and just trying to be better the next time going around. And going forward, that's the same thing the rest of the year, just trying to play faster and make a lot more plays like that so I can just do what I can to be a playmaker.
You got a lot of former linebackers that you deal with in your room. You got, obviously Steve Rush, your linebacker coach, he played. Jack Del Rio played. Ron Rivera played. You get a lot of information. What has been the biggest message or the message that they mainly have given you this season?
Play fast. That's all it really boils down to. Don't do all the extra thinking like I said before, because all that's going to do is have you just tensed up and out there thinking a little too much. So that's one of the biggest things that they harp on constantly, is just going out there and really being yourself. That's what I was trying to focus on this offseason, like I said. So I mean, going forward, I just want to continue to do what I'm doing and just trying to be myself, not worry about what anybody trying to say about me because they don't know me. So
right.
At the end of the day, I'm just going to go out there and try to continue to be a playmaker so we can turn this thing around.
Yeah, you made a ton of plays, and you know, I look back and think about the game against the Philadelphia Eagles, and you know, it wasn't the type of result we wanted, but just the flash plays where there was times where Jalen Hurts is, you know, running out of the pocket, think he's going to get a first down, and you just come out of nowhere like a blur. That's just part of not thinking and just playing fast.
Right, that's exactly what it is. It's more so of like, okay, you know where you're supposed to be, so don't think about it, just do it. Just go make the play. So ain't nobody else going to do it, so hell, I mean, all 11 to the ball, that's always the goal, but at the same time, if you got an opportunity to make a play, you might as well take it.
Got a big challenge this weekend going against Derrick Henry and the Titans rushing attack. What type of challenges do they present, especially going against a big back like Derrick Henry?
I mean, first and foremost, your main focus is to stop the run because you know they're a big running team. So coming into this, you want to be able to read your keys, do as much as you can to get a jump on them with film and whatnot, making sure that you know exactly where they run the ball, and that stop that first and foremost, like I said, and then first and second down, getting all the way off the field on third down as well. So like I said, just run game, that's really the biggest thing to harp on first and foremost. So.
The last two ball games, you guys have been outstanding playing against the run, against two of the better running teams in the National Football League. What has been the biggest difference between, you know, early in the season and now? How have you played the run against Philadelphia and the Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, we've been trying to do what we needed to do, but at the same time, we know we still not where we want to be as a team defensively, and we just want to live up to our standards, just play fast as a defense. So I mean, it's really just trying to play fast, like I said before, get all 11 hands to the ball, knowing that we just want to get off the field on third down, and how you do that is stopping them on first and second down. So that's really the main focus, and we're just going to continue to do that throughout the season.
All right, man, appreciate you joining
I'm Brad Whiteside back in the booth. Our 50-yard line show is next. Kickoff is nearing here at FedEx Field. You're listening to Washington Commanders football.